Well, quirk of the new CBA allows there to be legal tampering. Welcome back, Jeff Rust.
Boy, that was very, very fast.
Oh, that's because
it was immediately SportsCenter. They're like, "Yep, by the way, at 12:01, they can start. Teams can start negotiations with their own players,
free agents." Yes, and that's the quirk. You can't go out and talk to other players or other teams' players, but your own that are not under contract or have a player option or an option year or termination clause in their deal, you can begin conversations with them so we can stop pretending like they're not already talking.
Hey.
It gets rid of all of that. But it also lets us know and understand what this cycle or every cycle is going to look like as it pertains to those players. Indiana and Pascal Siakam, 98% chance that they're going to announce a deal as soon as they can. I fully expect that to happen. I expect the same with Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Where there is some turpitude, as it were, is OG Anunoby and the New York Knicks, which that would be quite not necessarily a change or a shock, but it would certainly cause a real shift in how free agency, the draft, and the subsequent transaction period takes place. Because if all of a sudden he is truly available, then it changes things up in a free agent class that's really not that great. And you start seeing a jostling, as it were, as teams, maybe Houston's looking at that like going, maybe that's the guy that they go after.
That would be, he would actually fit really well with Ime Udoka too. But you're so much further away than the Knicks are. And then it comes down to he's not happy with the initial offer from the Knicks. There's only so far teams are willing to go right now because of the second apron and how punitive it is to teams that go into it.
Because if the Knicks give OG Anunoby the contract that he wants, it's going to cost them Isaiah Hartenstein. Because Hartenstein already took a deal of deals, and he's got a real chance to get paid. And there's a couple teams that will pay him. That's going to happen. So and
they're going to regret it. Because he was a product of a system and a style of play surrounding him that really made Isaiah Hartenstein thrive in New York.
You just had to put him in the right place where he's not asked to do much offensively other than be a screener, roller, and playmaker. Those things he does really well. And and then defensively, he's a good defender. But if you're trying to make him some sort of feature player, or you're trying to ask him the ask is more than the ability, then it's not going to go well for you. But if you take a look up and down,
and try to Whiteside him,
yes, very much. Which is why Terry Stotts just said block as many shots as you can.
Just do it.
For all of oh no, Whiteside was good here. No, he was just chasing stats for another contract. It's what got him $110 million in the first place. And shout out to Miami for giving it to him.
Hey.
But with this, you kind of start understanding the framing and why this is important for the Trailblazers. Well, if a team misses out on a guy, do they now get maybe a little bit more scratchy? Well, we lost our wing. Do we need to make a move for Jeremy Grant? If a team misses out on, if they can't keep their point guard, let's say for whatever reason Klay Thompson decides to stay in Golden State and the Orlando Magic are like, oh man, maybe we need a Malcolm Brogdon, maybe we need an Anthony Simons.
Yeah.
Like these are the kind of things when you start looking at how the table is setting, you can start making the tea leaf assessments and reads along with the intelligence that's coming out from around the league.
And also you look at guys like Brogdon, he's going to be extension eligible this offseason, so you can that's going to be attractive to a lot of teams. The fact that he has an expiring deal, you can give that 1 year run. You can
then see
if
what
you
happens.
want to keep him, you can negotiate an extension with him. It will be really interesting to see how it goes, how it all plays out, because you have the Knicks are the ones to wake up this morning and have the OG Anunoby news come out. And look, that guy is attractive to a lot of teams. And the fact that he was up in Toronto and ended up in New York last year, they made an amazing run. I don't blame him for wanting to test those waters based on the way that he was handled with Masai Ujiri in Toronto, in the King's ransom that he was asking for OG, where he just had to sit and be patient and until it finally came time where the Knicks, like all of the other options for Ujiri were exhausted and he had to settle with the Knicks deal, right? Him testing that free agent market dude's going to get paid somewhere. The other one's Paul George with the Joel Embiid side eye with he and PG on the ESPN set of, maybe we
Shout
can
out
go
Joel.
get somebody, just like maybe him to Philly, which everybody's been talking about for like 6 months now, but now it's becoming more of a reality. Now he can't go and talk to Philly right now,
Nope.
but that opened up the Clippers to be like, okay, if we're going to find a way to make this happen, we got to do it now before anything else happens where Philly can pounce.
And that's the thing is, the same deal Philly could offer now is the same one they could have offered a couple months ago. So don't you think if that deal was on the table, Paul George would have signed it?
Well, do you mean the Clippers? The Clippers deal is the same one now than it was a few months ago?
Yeah,
Philly.
Oh,
it's
sorry,
okay.
yeah, no.
It's all right.
I words for a living.
It's, he would have. And I don't... Well, maybe it's Jeff Van Gundy joining Ty Lue's staff that pushes him over the hump.
That's probably going
to
push him out the door.
He's going to sign that deal now that Van Gundy's on staff.
Well, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned that because as it pertains to another particular free agent, Malik Monk, he's very close with Mike Brown. Do you think that's maybe a reason why the Kings, even though they penny pinched over it, brought Mike Brown back? Because Malik Monk and you know who Malik Monk's very good friend is on that team? You wouldn't believe it if I told you. It's Sabonis.
That's who I was going to say.
Most people would not think that. They would just be, big, quiet, goofy white dude. Not exactly the guy you would think would be Malik Monk's guy.
Well, it's like Damon Nurk.
Yeah, no, it's very very similar, kind of a buddy cop situation. But the most money that the Kings can offer Malik Monk is 4 years, $78 million. On the open market, he's going to command over $20+ million a year, and if you do the math on that, that's not $20 million a year. So if Malik Monk is going to be gone, which it very much sounds like he's going to be, which he's another option for Orlando, then they're also out there shopping the combination of Kevin Huerter, Harrison Barnes, and maybe their number 13 pick.
Not Ronald Threasley.
Yeah, well, they've been linked to Zach LaVine and Alex Caruso.
Oh.
But
you should have led with Caruso
and
finished with LaVine.
I know. Look, they're
because when you lead with Zach LaVine, you go.
They're giving him away for a used ball rack. Like that's when you see if Zach LaVine gets traded, the return on him, if it's even remotely close to neutral, I'll be impressed because it's probably going to be a negative return.
It will. It will be. The contract.
It'll be Bradley.
Bad.
It'll be Bradley Beal-esque.
Wow.
That's how this is going to go. They're just going to want to wipe their hands of it. So, as this pertains to the Blazers, it sets the table for the draft, free agency, and impending trades that may or may not happen. Because now you'll understand where the holes are, what teams are trying to maneuver, how they're going to do it, what their cap space is, what their positioning is. And these deals that are being negotiated right now with their own teams, they can't be announced formally until June 30th. That's when free agency actually opens. They aren't official until July 6th. So that's what you're looking at, which is really insane to think about.
That
3 weeks away.
But it's a week long until they become official is the dumbest thing the NBA does.
It's the moratorium. It's the letting everything go through, building up the paperwork, processing it, and then getting into your new financial year. I still remember.
It's the year 2024. That can be done in an hour.
I'm just saying. I remember going on a vacation with my girlfriend at the time where I proposed to my wife, and we were on a private island, and I go, I need an hour because it was the middle of free agency. It's
bad timing by you.
It was very bad timing by me, but
and the ultimate warning sign for her.
She knew what she was in for. I did liquor her up and get her on a private island. Look,
that's probably the least offensive thing he did up to that point.
That's right.
He's not wrong.
That's right.